What is up, guys? In today's video we're going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero Build, going over what I think they do well, what they could do differently, the state of the game right now, and potentially some small channel updates for next season. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of the upcoming Death Star Sabotage event, because we are only a few days away from that event happening, and this is going to be the first mid-season event that we've gotten in quite some time in Fortnite. I think the last time we had not mid-season, mid-chapter event that we've had. I believe this is the first one since Collision in Chapter 3. Majority of the recent live events have just been chapter concluding events, and they've also been just concerts, which some people really like the, digital concerts, but that has never really been something that I was interested in at all. I'm trying to get on this man's spaceship, but it does not seem like it's going to work out. Hello, sir. Please eliminate me. Thank you. I'm be on board with I'm not Derek 2X. And while I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars, I definitely am more interested in this Death Star Sabotage event than I am a virtual concert. This player is going to get a little bit of loot here, and it also doesn't seem like many players landed at Brutal Boxcars, if any, so they have the option to like rotate there for extra loot. I don't know if they were also trying to get in the X-Wing or not. But if they were, their drop was not good enough to make that happen. Please take those shockwaves. Okay, if they didn't take those shockwaves, I was about to lose full. You can also talk to Leia and get zone reveal. So you can purchase zone reveal from her for gold. Personally, it's not really something I want to do. But if you do just like only care about winning, that is something that can help a lot. Knowing where the zone is. But there is also the forecast towers. And that's why I don't think like purchasing it from her is that big of a deal. You have 3 hours. For 3 days and 20 hours until the event. May have purchased it from her, I'm not sure. Interested to see what he does from here though, because I feel like he has several options. So you could go into Magic Mosses, you can go into this like RV area, you go to Brutal. And the amount of loot here is not very much, but it's like a good amount of loot in a very condensed area that you can loot up really quick. And then, like I said, get one of those more like scrap loot locations, get even more loot. He's just using both shockwaves there. That is not what I like to see. We'll see if not having shockwaves comes back to bite him if he gets third partied or anything. This thing he's shooting I don't think is real. Somebody is capturing the train. Please use your shotgun, sir. I don't know if there's a challenge for those guns, but holy. I do not like the reliance this player has on these. It is not going well for him. And these videos have been an absolute struggle to make this season. I don't know what it is. Like, the way the map is laid out, I feel like there isn't just one central, like, hot location. And that makes it harder to spectate somebody who's, like, definitely going to be active throughout the course of the game. But the pacing is also just much slower this season. And, yeah, I think that contributes to it a lot as well. This player has a car. Having a car early on in the game, I think, is really big deal this season. Especially with the Star Destroyer update that happened. That is going to be what has changed most in the game since the last one of these videos I made. But the Star Destroyer, now a portal will open up in second zone. And the first person to get to it gets to pilot the Star Destroyer for 90 seconds. And that thing is very powerful, but also very avoidable. This is a person we were previously spectating. They know about the pickaxe trick. So does this person. I think the person we're spectating now easily wins this. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a shotgun. The other player, I don't know the name of this skin, but the one that's getting shot right now that just rifted, all he needs to do is get out of the car and then shoot this person sitting in the car in the face. And then you could deal so much damage. The pickaxe trick is nice for pressuring people out of cars, but it is really not that good. And the person who gets out first to hit shots, I think, has much higher damage potential because they're pretty much guaranteed to hit headshots. This player left behind a Jawa shotgun back there, and I do not think that was a good idea. I've seen a lot of players not liking these shotguns for whatever reason. I think both the Jawa and the ACP are quite good, but I've seen a lot of people not carrying shotguns this season, and even in my comment section saying like, why do you carry a shotgun? There's no point. We'll see if it comes back to bite this person, but like the way you can play off movement in fights and the way you can play off cover in fights with the shotgun is just much better than these spray weapons. And on the flip side of that, when you're fighting an opponent that's using cover well and using movement well, I think having a shotgun also makes it a lot easier to deal damage to them than something that like consistently requires you to deal damage, or consistently requires you to like be tracking them. John Wick takes a lot of damage to the pickaxe trick and then he's just a free kill. But that's not really something that should ever happen. All the John Wick has to do is slow the car down, get out, hit headshots, and very easily this person can lose that fight. Going for it on like full HP opponents like that is not great. So now the portal spawned. I'm interested to see where the Star Destroyer will spawn. But as I was saying before when we started spectating this person, I think the Star Destroyer is incredibly easy to avoid. If you're in its death zone, like, it's rough. There's not much you can do there. But just not being in its death zone is the solution. And I think one of the easiest ways to avoid this is just not be in the center of the map when second zone hits. It's not like it spawns directly in the center, but I feel like being more middle definitely increases your chances of being in its path. But once you see it spawn, just don't be in its path. And so if you're on this mountain right now, don't stay there. Go over here. Or go over here. But it travels in a straight line, and most of its kill zone is just like directly in front of it or directly under it. If you're like decently to the side, you're pretty chill. And so if you do find yourself consistently losing to this, like I've seen some comments of players like complaining about how they're consistently losing to it, all you have to do is just pay attention when second zone hits, have a car, and be ready to drive out of way. If it spawns directly on top of you, then, you know, that sucks, and there maybe isn't much you can do there. But that's not going to be what consistently happens. This default he's fighting seems decent. Their aim is good. This car is going to blow up. Okay, luckily he gets out of it and doesn't stay in it. But if he stayed in that car, that would have been bad, because he had already taken like 70 damage to start that fight. I kind of want to spectate that default, but he just broke shield on them. Like, that person's aim was actually very good. Where are we at? We're outside pump power. See, like, these characters are potentially in the death zone of the Star Destroyer. And so just chilling out over here and having a fight over here wasn't the greatest idea. I get that he wanted to, like, punish that player after they come out of the lightsaber portal, but that was almost bad. This isn't going very well for him. Like, I felt like this default just has pressure in the fight constantly, and their aim feels very good. I want them to, like, eliminate the person we're spectating so we can watch them. Because if I just switch, there's no guarantee I'm going to be on them. I think they're still lurking around here looking for shots. If they were weak, though, I think he cracked shield on them. Going to this gas station over here would be a good way to get heals. And then also the radio tower, those guards drop, like, chug jugs and big pots and stuff. He broke shield on him again, I think. This is where having the shockwaves would be great. Because this is why I'm not the biggest fan of solely the lightsaber for mobility or the jetpack or the grapple glove. Because when you're trying to push somebody like that after getting damage, you are very vulnerable with these items. Having shockwaves, you can shock into the Jedi flip, and obviously you can be shot when you're shockwaving, but it's much harder than using some of these items, and how fast you're going to get there is also much faster. And that's why I like shockwaves the most for pressuring damage. And we'll see if that comes back to bite this player. Because as I said, I think that default aim is very good. And so the more this fight continues to go on, the worse it is. If I'm fighting somebody that's good, I want to like take advantage of any sort of pressure or advantage I get. And then get that kill and get them out of the game. I don't want to just let them linger. And he does get the kill there, finally. But that was just a bit messier than it needed to be. And I wouldn't have been surprised if it ended up going the other way. Like, that person's aim was very good. Also, this player probably is not going to do too well in close range. I forgot they don't have a shotgun. They have the mythic F11 now, but with the Jawa shotgun in the game, having only a spray for close range, I think is so dangerous. Enemy on him here. Gonna push them away, but they don't really go that far. He gets hit. Luckily, he doesn't take very much damage versus a Jawa. And he's just going to jetpack spray here. This is actually quite good for not having a shotgun, I think. All right, GG's. I was going to say, if you're not going to have a shotgun, then probably running the jetpack so you could just, like, kind of jetpack away and spray in those situations would be nice. But you see, not having a shotgun immediately just ruins that player's game once they fight a player that is like somewhat up close. And this player missed their first Jawa shotgun shot. That fight could have been much cleaner for this Ultra person here if their first Jawa shot, well, they didn't miss, but it just didn't hit very hard. If their first Jawa shot was like good, then I think the person we were previously spectating stands no chance. There should be extra heals here. Okay, yeah. I was going to say there should be extra heals here because of the forecast tower guards. So he can get the forecast, he can heal up, he's going to be chilling. Unfortunately, he has no mobility, which is quite surprising. I don't know if he just hasn't found a Jedi training spot yet, but like he can't just pick up that lightsaber the other player previously had and use it for mobility because you need the training to get the movement aspect of it. And that's one reason I would recommend getting, whenever you have the option to get training, I would recommend getting it, even if you don't want to carry a lightsaber, because you might have times like this where you eliminate a player who has a lightsaber. A lot of people take it. If you have training, you can pick up somebody else's lightsaber and you have the movement. And it's not like you need to use the one that you had training on. Just having the training at all unlocks the movement for you. And so if you are, even if you don't want to carry it and you have the time, I would say get the training, just because in a scuff situation like this, having that lightsaber for the sprint and the jump is much better than having no mobility at all. They do have the rift to go, which is somewhat helpful. But that's another item that, again, isn't the greatest at, like, pushing enemy players because it takes so long and you do leave yourself kind of vulnerable when you're in the sky. And to me, like I touched on with that default, like, just taking advantage of pressure you have in a fight versus somebody good is very important. Rift could be great here, though, because he has a spaceship on him. Just shoot it. Once it, like, passes you like that, you're chilling. He went through the portal. I think there was like another person up there maybe though. Chilling next to that to fight it is probably a good idea because then if things were going bad, he could get in there. But once the ship passes you, that's like prime time for you. Because the guns are only on the front. This person blocking with the lightsaber. That's like one of the rough things about using the Jawa is if the enemy is just lightsaber blocking, you can just waste your only shot. He has a mythic F... Okay, GG's. I was going to say he has a mythic F11 though, so he could just spray the block out and then swap to the Jawa afterwards. Like normally people shoot their shotgun and then swap to spray. You could just basically do that in reverse to like fry that lightsaber user. And when somebody has way too much confidence in the block, once you stagger it, there's GG's for them. Player's aim with the Jawa is not the greatest, and it's stressing me out, but we'll see if they hit the shot here. Nope, unfortunately not. I was going to say I liked in the tunnel how they did kind of like take their time to hit that final shot to get the kill. The Jawa obviously only has one shot, and then it takes like long to recharge. But if you feel like rushed to throw that first shot out, I feel like it can... A lot of players end up missing. But if you do just like know like, okay, it's one shot, I got to take a little bit more time, I think your accuracy will improve a lot. It sounds so stupid, like obviously taking your time, you'll hit more shots. But just a small tenth of a second can like help you a lot. Don't want to take too long. I don't know why he's not healing with the chug jug. He like very much wants to like save the chug. There is potentially a heal vending machine at Brutal Boxcars. That he could use to get white health, but I don't know if it was destroyed or not. I don't think it should be. I was like, okay, yeah, it is. I was gonna say the Star Destroyer didn't go over here. Oh no, it's still there, but he's breaking it. I'm surprised it's still there. What is going on, bro? Why didn't you just not do that? Like, just not drive the ship into the vending machine. Buys a med kit. Still 9 opponents remaining. The fresh G-Wagon over there. Looks fresh, at least. It might be, like, actually weak. Sometimes it kind of bugs out when spectating. So far, though, this player... Oh, he's going to get the spaceship, I think. This player's shotgun aim gives me stress. And I think, you know, once we get into the end game, a fight can very easily not go their way if they're going to be missing every Jawa shot. But it might not matter because now he has an X-Wing. And so he could kill anybody in the game right now if the timing and angle works out well for him. I will not be missing these when the season ends. It's also kind of funny that the shield bubbles actually block the new Star Destroyer that was added, but the TIE Fighters and the X-Wings, the splash damage of the shots will go through the shield bubbles. Its zoners. It's like dead center on the map too. This is a medallion on the map, but it's from the player that we're currently spectating. There's a car under there. This person has some sort of NPC. I wonder if it's Chewbacca, Darth Vader, or one of the Mandalorians. Wants to get up again so he can shoot down. The struggle is real. Crashing into everything. The ship is rather weak right now. It's only at 500 health. This should be its first life, though, with how it was parked on the platform. I think there might be somebody in that car's passenger seat. I couldn't really get a good look at it, but I think there may have been. It would almost be beneficial for him right now to, like, grief his own ship, rather than having an enemy do it to him. Since they do regen shots, or regen health. Got shot a little bit in the back. I'm not really too sure what he's trying to do here, though, because I've never really used these ships at all. I don't know the ideal way to play with them. Seems like there's a fight happening down there, though. And so third-partying this would be good. He's shooting at the AI, though. The other player went and got in the car. He broke his own ship. I'm interested to see if the other guy just gets out and fights him. Seems like no. And he's getting DMR'd. You gotta always be mindful of that this season. It is so good. There's still so many people left alive. Just being hyper tunnel visioned on one kill like that is rough. I also, like, don't know. He's, like, very exposed to this. I don't know what's going on with this player and his Chug Jug, because he's, like, very intent on saving it. And yeah, like, the Chug Jug is good and all, but if you're, like, so concerned about saving it that you never use it, like, that can be a problem. I think he's very lucky here that the enemy didn't kill him. Because if that person that pulled up in the Octane just shoots their gun while he's healing, like, he can't play. The rifting here would be a good idea. But it's like the same thing with the Chug Jug. I feel like he's, like, overly concerned about, like, saving the resources he has that it doesn't even... He might as well not have them because he just wants to save them so much. Finally rifts, but it's too late. And even then, rifting could have been not the greatest play there because you get shot out of the sky. But it's like one of those things where it's like... He's clearly in a terrible situation there. If he rifts, he maybe gets shot out of the sky. But if he stays there, he's definitely dead. So, like, I don't know why... he was so concerned about saving the rift. Ship is relatively weak here. This is, like, one of the best areas to be, I think, if you're fighting the ships, because there is all the trees. But it seems like the zone is going to go off into pumped power-ish area. Like, it's not going to be total tree coverage. But if you're an enemy in this zone right now, you want to be griefing this spaceship. I would want to be in the tree area shooting at the ship and try to disable it. Because when you have the trees, you have them as cover, and then also, as I was saying, it's hard for it to drive in there. Anytime the ship crashes into something, it takes a lot of damage. And so I would want to, like, ruin the spaceship before it got to, like, before we were forced in out in the open. And he just landed it here to disable it. Because as I talked about before, it has those extra lives, and it's better for him to, like, disable it over here and get it back rather than having it just disabled on him. And so I think those other players just doing nothing and allowing that to happen may have just, like, ruined the game. No one in there. But now he can just check everything with the ship. Okay, he's finally getting shot. Look at how much damage he takes when he crashes into that tree. I guess not very much. There we go. I feel like the HP of it is lagging. It's like 50 health every time it crashes into something. So forcing it to crash into stuff, really helpful if you're fighting the ship. I would still want to be pressuring it here. The fact that it has to do a complete U-turn to shoot at you again is time that you can take advantage of to get it damaged. But also, like, you do have to worry about the other player in this situation somewhat, because it's a 1v1v1. But if you're struggling with these ships, just like being more proactive and taking advantage of the times where you can grief it, I think is really helpful. Because it's only at 800 HP right now. If they were shooting it a bit, it would be like potentially dead, or at least much weaker when a fight did happen. And this is its last life. Finally, it's getting shot again. Look at that. That was like 25% of its remaining health right there. It didn't. I don't think he saw the person. They were by the house. They're both by houses. Look at this. Look at how weak it is. And it's gonna blow up on when it gets damaged, when it gets destroyed here. Running into all these trees because it has to, and now it's destroyed. At least I thought it was. Does it have another life? I thought that was its last life. I'm dumb. Zone pulled far for this player. As always, when it's a 1v1v1, you need to be worried about fighting, because anytime you do fight, you make yourself an easy third party for the other player. And it seems like he's like hoping they fight and he can third party it, but he does have to like go kind of far. I didn't mean to do this. He does have to go kind of far. And so I would like to see him do something here. A lot of people just kind of do nothing and wait for zone to force them out. And then when that happens, you leave yourself no time to really do anything. I feel like he could have ran to one of those rocks ahead of him, and he would have made his rotation a bit easier and also potentially set himself up to damage other players. It's going to work out anyways for him, though, it seems, because the other person went ahead. I don't know what he's looking at there. The person is under the tree. But if he got here and the other guy was like still chilling at that other house, then he could like easily hold them. He's just like really waiting to third party. This is good. I don't like this, actually. Just either bunker or get behind that rock. Like, now he has eyes on everything and he can see when they fight and third party them. But if you're just like hiding in that shack, I feel like it's a little more awkward for you to actually like get shots on them. Oh, the enemy came and force pushed him. Shoot your gun, please. Shoot your gun. The other player is to the left. This cover is very weak. You could jetpack up and shoot his gun here, but I don't know why he's not. And then unversed note wins the fight. This was a player with a shotgun. Both of them ended up spraying, but this player opened the fight with like a hard-hitting Jawa shot, and that's the reason they won the fight. I think that situation was played as poorly as it could be by the final player. If you're not going to have a shotgun there, I think just jetpacking up and shooting down on them works, but that's also part of the problem with waiting to third party the last fight. Like, it can help. It could definitely work, but the person who ended up winning that game was the one who was under the tree he was looking at. If he shot them a bit there, you don't have to full commit to that fight, but getting shots on it and like making that player's life terrible and maybe getting them to fight the other player, I think would have worked out a lot better than just doing nothing. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like some more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.